Discovering your purpose is very key. Now, at what point do you discover your purpose in life? Some people, it takes them a whole lot of time, and maybe just at the peak of their career, they discover their purpose. Some, it is even towards the end. Some at the beginning. It is never too late whenever you decide to really discover your purpose, pursue it, and make it worth the while. But you know, when life brings a twist for you to discover your purpose, do you embrace it or do you discard it? Tell me something. How do you feel when disability is a means to you discovering your purpose? It's the story of Ashade Chinyere, a broadcaster who has grown through the ranks to become a director. 5 years down the lane, she had to have her 2 legs amputated, and this brought about her discovering her purpose. Standing right here is her house, and you know what? We're going to dig in to find out what happened and how it all started. My name is Doshima Pius Ikirabi, and the program is Against All Odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. Don't go away, we will be back shortly. Don't go away.
This is Against All Odds.
In the heart of Lagos, Nigeria, Juanita Chinyere Ashande's journey began on the 5th day of March 1964. From her early days in school to her service in the civil sector as a director at Voice of Nigeria, Chinyere climbed the ranks, embodying resilience and determination.
Yeah, I joined Voice of Nigeria in 1990 as an announcer then, and later we were called presenters and all that. Grew through the ranks, and by the grace of God, today I'm a director. I'm the director of programs operations in Voice of Nigeria, set to retire.
Her passion for music led her to the choir of her local church, where her voice resonated with devotion for over 3 decades.
Lis-nous ensemble, Seigneur, lis-nous ensemble, Seigneur, lis-nous avec ton amour. Oh, tufunge pamoja kwa kamba sisizo. Tufunge pamoja kwa upendo, utufunge pamoja kwa upendo.
In 2018, tragedy struck. Returning from a pastoral wife retreat, Juanita's life took an unexpected turn. An accident which claimed her 2 legs, challenging her spirit but not her resolve.
First of all, he came late and was telling us all kinds of stories. So many things happened anyway. And here we were, 7 or 8 of us in the vehicle. It was a Sienna, all women, pastors' wives. And here we were coming back to Abuja. And the person who took us was mature, but this was one young guy. And He was very, very reckless. Well, reckless, yes, but he cooled down. But the main challenge we had with him was his phone. He kept on answering his calls, and we kept on talking to him. Now, I was directly behind him in the middle row, while the others were behind, we kept on talking to him. Please, why are you picking these calls? Is it because we're women? We insisted and insisted. At a point, I remember somewhere along the line, he stopped when he had a call, picked the call, and then continued. But it just was part of him. He just kept on at it. We got to Lokoja, and I called my husband, of course, and said, so we're on the last lap, we'll soon be home. And we took off from Lokoja after buying our plantain and stuff, which we used to step down. And then all of a sudden, there was this call. Like I said, I was directly behind, so I heard everything. Yeah. I wouldn't know who this... when I look back, I knew this accident just wanted to happen. So this person calls him and tells him, they are beating your wife. He said, they are beating my wife. Okay, So when I heard that, I knew he was agitated. So I told him, I said, see, just take it easy. I spoke Yoruba to him. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Thank God we're almost home. Please just relax. Somewhere along the line, I think that was almost the last thing I remembered. One of the last things I remembered. Like I said, I was directly behind him, And the next thing, I knew the vehicle was veering off. But the next thing I remembered was a set of arms around me. Yes, I can't forget. I felt I was being held, and I blanked out. That was it. I was told the vehicle somersaulted and all of that. How many times we were flung out onto the road, I was told. But I didn't know any of that. The last thing I remembered was those arms. And why I remembered those arms, actually talked about it in the book I did later. I'm an only child of my mother. And when she passed on, unfortunately, was in a similar situation. When we got to see where she was, I was about crumbling, I was buckling under my feet. And suddenly I just felt these arms holding me up, and I became strong. And I just turned around and, we went back home, and life continued. We did everything we had to do. So I was familiar with those arms. I knew that it was just God. Wow. He just sent his angel, or however it was, and just held me. And thank God he did, because it probably would have been a spinal or anything else. As I said, we were flung out, but because he was holding me, because it wasn't that bad. When he was doing all the somersaults, we actually lost somebody on the spot, and then others had varying degrees of issues.
This is Against All Odds.
We were taken to the hospital and they took care of us. The right one was swollen, the left one was fractured. So they were doing the operation on my leg, packing all the bones, bits and pieces, and putting it back together, with torches and, phones and everything, because the gen refused to work and there was no power. But he got it done. I just didn't get the kind of attention I was supposed to have gotten at National Hospital. Because when I went in there, because when they touched my toes, I would know, and I was wriggling my toes and all that. Somehow, along the line, somebody noticed that she was touching my toes, and I was no longer responding. So they had to say, something is going wrong. And I was going through pain raised to the power 1 trillion. By my own estimation, for me, they tried morphine, they tried all kinds of things, and I was on these things too. It's like per second, as soon as I say, I need this stuff again. So we got to Cedar Crest and they said they had no choice. Of course, my husband and our district overseer then, Reverend Adimola Babatunde, who was very, very much with us, and some other leaders too of the church. They first of all, they did waka. They first of all waka past, say, look, excuse me. They went in their different directions because they couldn't understand what they were listening to. That they were going to cut these 2 legs. Not even one, the 2.
I know a woman, sure you know her too. many years she could do anything she wanted to do. But in one moment that all came to an end.
In adjusting to the new normal, she is seeking to impact lives positively through encouragement, inspiration, and motivation. This she has hopes to do even more in retirement. How were you able to cope? The environment, the people, and maybe then things were not so accessible, right?
Well, one of the best things that happened was concerning where I work, Voice of Nigeria. We were initially at Radio House. Our offices were on the 6th and 7th floor. So I wasn't going to, and well, yes, we have a lift, but not, you know what it's like now. Yeah. There were times when there were down times with the lift. But along the line, our then DG, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, was able to get us our corporate headquarters at Wuse 2. So the office they had given the director operations was on the 1st floor. So, and since I was to step into the shoes, but thankfully, somebody just pointed out, well, since she's in this situation for now, it means we have to get an office downstairs. It was so convenient for me. They were not able to fix the ramping in the front, I must say that. But from the back, it was easily accessible. Now, I know they'll say that's not fair, but for me, for as long as I could get into the building, they're actually working. Our new DG has definitely said he's going to do. Our new DD, Jibrin Babandache, he said he's going to do the front ramping. That is not about me. It's about this community. Sure. And so he asked me to do a memo as one of my final memos before leaving, which I have done. And he says he will use that to get that done. And I've done that and given it to him. And he said, no problem. That is going to do that ramping there.
For this purpose was I created. For this purpose was I preserved. I am your vow, your vessel of worship. Father, I adore and worship you. Alpha and Omega, my Creator. Unto you belong all power and might. Father, I adore you, my dear Father. I adore you, Jesus.
There's a grace that I must say that the Almighty God has given me. Without him, we wouldn't be having this interview. I can't understand myself. I mean, at times I pinch myself, come, are you for real? No, I do ask myself. At times I'm going past the mirror and I look at myself, are you for real? So because when people come, those coming to see me for the very first time, the initial response is they start crying, they start almost like, I say, hey, what's wrong with you? You better shake it off. Oh. Me, I'm cool. Hey, I better chill. What is it? Do I look like I need pity? I'm cool. Nothing wrong. No shaking, no wahala, nothing do me. I'm good. So anyone who is crying will just have to respect themselves and clear. So I normally help people to bounce back.
This is Against All Odds.
As a professional broadcaster, Chinyere maintained her love for the mic till the very end and hopes to continue to groom and regroom up and coming colleagues. There is absolutely no stopping her. She says, legs or no legs, I lost my legs, but not my voice, not my brains, and not my senses. You had a beautiful wife running all over the place with her 2 legs. She's very playful, you know. Of course, she's very playful. And suddenly, the legs are gone. And then you expect to see someone running and coming, and then it's not like that anymore. How has it been? The twist. How did you take it?
It's only God that can help me to explain this better, because for me, it's God's factor all the way. And if not, it will have been very, very difficult and challenging for me to be able to get along with the reality that I'm faced with. Yes, it is true that she had a challenge, but she's still fearfully and wonderfully made. And that beauty, the passage that I've just quoted, I saw it prominently hung on a wall of the place she was as a spinster. And I looked at it, hey, this is true. And even after the amputation, in the morning, I had to take it as she had come, one step at a time. I wanted to see her alive. It was more important, even if the legs are gone, not that everything is gone. Mm. So that changed my mindset. I wanted her alive first, not that I'll be preserving her legs and she will pass with the two legs. So that changed my thinking. Let her be alive. If that is what we keep, they only need to do to keep her alive.
What motivated the book?
My husband, though. Me, book. The first day, come and see, war. That one, it was a war. Serious war. The first day he talked about the book, I said, excuse me, please. Thank God for his grace. I'm managing, I've accepted this thing, but I should start right. I was angry as in, it was a war. And one thing with him, once he catches a vision, if you don't run with it, he will drag you. So you better just be ready to run with it.
I was in the hospital after the first surgery. And I said, this is coming as part of our testimony. We must put it, document it. And of course, someone was near me. We agreed to, a cousin, that the book is coming out of this. And fortunately, again, one of the staff of Cedar Crest mentioned it. I said, yes, confirmation, and on like that. Eventually, we got to see the book by her mentor, Dr. Irene Olumesi. So she got it, so more convinced that we need to get it done. Let me say, I don't have the gift of talking for too long. And you will discover it in the book too, one way or the other. But that's not to say I give account of what happened with dates.
When we did the book, when you get to see the book, it's a twin book. It's titled Grace Immeasurable and Mercy Unlimited. Because he said, see, this book is not just about you. You know, I had my own experiences too. I said, yeah, I know. I said, so how are we going to write this? Everybody's going to write. I said, look, you write your own, I'm writing my own. It's as simple as that. And then remember this book that he has on his bookshelf, What Every Woman Wants from a Man and What Every Man Wants from, something like that, by, forgotten the name. So he said, okay, this is the meeting point. We're going to do a twin book like this. So that was eventually what we did. You know, I wrote from one part to the middle, and then I wrote from, okay, let's call mine the front now. Front and stopped at the middle. Then you flip it around, and then his own starts and ends in the middle. So it's a flip. When Jesus is my portion, My constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me.
Only believe. If she could make it, she could make it. You can make it. I know. Only
Basic things like I can go to the kitchen, I can cook, I can, if I put this on now, it has a lifter that I can just move up, mix what I want to do. But of course, I have a caregiver. She's been with me these past 5 years plus. Just a member of the church, but she just yielded herself. It's just God. I call her my angel. I call her my angel. Or when she's hard on me, when she wants to push me, I call her my holy witch. Yes, so that's me. I haven't have a chapter on her in the book because I just had to talk about her because she really understood me when I was going through pain. As soon as I was out of ICU and she could come and she was with me, she's been wonderful.
I met her at National Hospital on Monday, 10th September 2018. When we got there, she was in emergency room, but they want to transfer her to female ward. Our district general overseer was there with the wife, with I and my husband. Then my husband now asks the general overseer wife that who has she assigned in the district to stay with her. She now said she cannot assign anyone because it is a very difficult task. So when they were spoken, my husband said she had a voice say, "This is your assignment that you have to do." I say, he looked around, he went out, he did not see anybody. Again, he heard the voice, "This is your assignment that you have to do." And meanwhile, I just from work to just go and see her, nothing, no clothes, no all this, nothing, no toothpaste, no brush, because I did not prepare to even sleep. It's for me to just go and see her and go back. When we hear the calling, so we have to stay. Say, my husband, I did not bring her and say, "Don't worry. I will go back tomorrow morning. Everything you need, I will bring it for you." That is how I slept the first day in the National Hospital with her. That is how I was with her till today. Until God, when God say your assignment is finished. It is not easy, but God make it easy for me. At my age, I did not think that I can go far. I can go far like this with this work. God multiply His strength upon my life. His ability. What I did not even think to do, I do more extraordinary because of His grace, His ability, and His strength upon my life.
This is Against All Odds.
Wow, I had to take a very deep breath when it's dawned on me that Mrs. Ashade is bowing out of the civil service. And I know that Voice of Nigeria is not having only one of the director out of service, but a big presenter and a trainer. I'm an engineer, and I work with her so closely because as a director of operations, her concern had always been workings of the studio. And she wouldn't allow me to rest Once I see her call coming, I know there is a problem in the studio. Her passion is to see that the organization is always on air.
I was in the studio trying to voice a script, and the microphones in the corridor were on. I didn't know she was passing, and she listened. She heard something that I said, and then she came into the studio and stopped the recording abruptly. I was just surprised. I was like, and she said, "You did this wrong, you did that wrong, this is not supposed to go this way." And she looked at her. I was stressed out already because I'd had a tough day that day with many scripts to take. And I didn't know when I said, "Don't worry, Ma. One day I'll get to be as good as you." And she said, "I don't want you to be as good as I am. I want you to be better than I am." And at that point, I just, I didn't really know what to say. I know she's got a lot lined up for her. She's retired, but not tired. All I can do is to wish her success in all that she plans to take on. And she's very capable. So I know whatever she has planned to take on, she will do well. And I wish God continues to bless her. And I wish her many more years.
Today, Chinyere Juanita Ashade stands tall, a beacon of strength and faith, inspiring all who cross her path. Juanita Chinyere Ashade, a life shaped by service, faith, and unwavering resilience.
Jungle.